Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Good morning. God bless. God bless. God bless. God bless. God bless. God bless. Alrighty. We are live here. That's right. We are live. And as always, people, we begin our day with our prayer. And therefore, let us raise our hands and receive. Thank God for getting us up this morning, breathing the air that He gives us, as well as, and I want to thank you all here for coming through for the Ktng morning show. And, we got some things out here that we got to take care of and so forth. Of course, needless to say, we're live here in the Springs, Colorado Springs, that is, ladies and gentlemen. And check this out, it's 38 degrees. It will be like a 58 throughout the winter or through the summer or break, whatever you're going to call it. So if anything, I want to welcome you guys to the Ktng morning show this morning as we begin our day in what was known as Hump Day. Okay. Anyway, as I scratch my armpits here. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for accepting me. But most importantly, people, welcome to the Ktng morning show. Yes. Welcome to the Ktng morning show. If you're watching on Facebook, we are also simulcast on YouTube, and that means 9 times out of 10 you have come to the right place. I mean, it's not much of a place, but hey, you know, we can do what we can do. That's right. This is the Ktng morning show, and this is your host from the most, and that's right, I slam it from coast to coast, Midwest to the best. I know I cannot be tested. That's right. This is the G to the R to the I to the Z to the Z, SD, underneath the water, underneath the mountains, and over the freeway. All day, this is what I say, the freak on the peak. Ha! And if you open your mind and allow me to speak, so this way I can tell you what's going on in this crazy zoo we call planet Earth. And maybe there may be some human beings bound to be souls of this earth. Okay, that might be a translucent, meaning, but hey, what the hell? Anyway, thank you guys for coming through on the Ktng morning show. I hope you guys understand your prayers this morning, and that way we get ourselves up. So, needless to say, out here in the spring O's, as they say, it's a little bit sunny today, so we might just clear the overcast and whatnot and have a bright, sunny day. And needless to say, let's start this day off with like what's happening out here. Same as always, but I think the most saddest thing that I heard and so forth, and this is how I want to tell you guys about what happened to my ass. I had to walk home, and probably the most saddest thing I've probably seen and smelled is campfires burning in the woods where homeless people are actually sleeping. They have their conversations, and they're living peaceful page, happy birthday, happy Earth Day if they call it, born day, that sort of thing. And most importantly, what the heck's going on around in the world? So let's take a quick dip into the pool of requited crap. All right. So let's look at this day in history right here. Okay, and I want you Bible thumpers out there to be, exceptionally reminiscent of this. And think of it now. 1606, the execution of Guy Fawkes, convicted of treason on his part in the quote-unquote gunpowder plot against the English Parliament, and King James I is executed. The guy who wrote the Bible for you. Why would such a man write a Bible and then get executed? I haven't the slightest idea. But then again, he was executed. Boink. Let's see, 1865, the 13th Amendment was passed, abolishing slavery. Okay. And let's see, also 1929, Leon Trotsky is expelled from the Soviet Union, so therefore there's your collusion. Let's see. Also, let's see what else we got here. 1950, President Truman announces the development of the H-bomb, and therefore that makes us a world superpower. 1958, United States enters the space age, and then in 1961, NASA sends Ham the chimp into space. Now I know that chimp was scared as crap, like, what in the hell are you guys doing to me? Who's mentioned just 4 pillars of immigration. Now I find all of that was just completely racist. And then this DJ CJ thing and whatnot, just inflated the responses of like, why he's such an idiot. And he applauds his ego more so than anything else. So again, once again, Dingleberry, the Dingleberry soup and toe jam Fritos are being served. So that's the name of our show for today. Anyway, you have to look at, how he has not mentioned the fact that he is helping minorities. I mean, come on. When you look at the Black Caucus that was there and so forth, they had the stoic faces of like, like somebody like, just basically like took part in the White House. And everybody was like trying to figure out who actually dealt it. So one of the things that the Congressional Black Caucus wanted to do was like, plan a protest, and it's only like 66 members, in that the whole thing. So the Congressional Black Caucus basically attended several discussions, confirmed several options for protesting cheeseburger were discussed, including a walkout, wearing African-themed garb, and not even showing up at the State of the Union at all. There were more vocal members, which includes Representative Maxine Waters, Jim Clyburn, and Craig Meeks, and Frederica Wilson. And basically what they said is, we will and discuss what we want to respond to the President's State of the Union. We could go and walk out. We could go and hold up a fist, or we could go, not go, or we could hold our own State of the Union, which they should have done prior to, say, like the actual State of the Union address. But none of that happened. And there you saw like some of the members that were like, basically sitting there, with their lips all turned up and everything. I mean, come on, if you saw that, and so you saw that whole thing, you see Mitch McConnell looking like he poisoned somebody, and your boy Mueller looked like he was about ready to have like, going through anaphylactic shock for that matter. Kind of gross. If you're on Facebook, jump on into the conversation, say hello, whatever. If you're on YouTube, smash the subscribe, that like button, whatever you got to do and so forth to prove the show that you support Free Speech Radio. And this is auction about help for people who are in like Commonwealth countries that are adjacent to, say, the United States. So in that sense, a lot of discernment is going on right about now about this, because he failed to mention, what he's going to do to help Puerto Rico. So I guess that's out of the question. All right. So if anything, my first cast here about 11 hours ago, Puerto Rico, from CNN, Puerto Rico, FEMA to end food and water shipments today, officials say. So with more than 4 months after Hurricane Maria battered Puerto Rico. This has nothing to do with my Maria in Compton, okay? The Federal Emergency Management Agency is halting new shipments of food and water to the island. An agency official said with direct knowledge of the plan, and thus the island government appeared blindsided by the decision, saying it was still in talks with FEMA on a timetable for assuming control of food and water distribution. Unlike, Venezuela, where, people are basically rioting for food. FEMA called the island's emergency operation the longest sustained distribution of food, fuel, and water in agency history, including more than $1.6 billion worth of food and more than $361 million worth of water. I didn't know water was that damn expensive. I mean, well, then again, if you go to 7-Eleven, you get like 2 for $3. Bottled water. But they're sending water down there. That's like coming from like, say, what, Aquafina, or I don't know, maybe less than Aquafina, maybe just a bottle of water that just says water on it. And food, maybe coming from like food banks and so forth that usually feed the homeless out here or here in this country. And if you ever worked in a food bank, 2 million snack packs on the ground for distribution if you need it. Snack packs, you know, those little kid things and so forth. They have like the little round processed turkey and cheese and crackers, that sort of thing. And this is supposed to like keep nourishment and protein in children, okay? For how long? I mean, come on, the belly gets to rumbling and so forth, and they start looking like Ethiopian kids on some crack. All right, so if anything, quote unquote, they said the commercial supply chain for food and water is reestablished and private suppliers are sufficiently available that FEMA-provided commodities are no longer needed for emergency operations. Okay, so let me ask you this. I mean, what happened in Texas? That's what I want to know. What happened in Texas? Did FEMA pull out of there as well? I mean, these people are still also building here. Okay, so I guess whenever a natural disaster does happen on this planet somewhere, we can only do but so much, and then it's like, you know, we try to ask like the rest of the world for help, which needless to say, our great cheeseburger has, you know, said, you know, nah, you ain't got to do nothing. We got it. We got it. We got it, but so much. So it's like, you know, going to like a buffet, and all you can eat buffet, and you only get like one item plate, and that's it, and they throw you out. Nice. Totally grande. Just straight grande. Okay? The quote unquote, the government is waiting for critical data provided by FEMA in order to determine when the responsibilities will be transferred from FEMA to the government of Puerto Rico. Pesquero said in a statement, and this has not yet happened, and we're not informed that supplies will stop arriving, nor did the government of Puerto Rico authorize this action. So actually, this is just a straight amputation altogether. So what does that mean? Does it mean more dissension? Is this like a Haiti move, where the United States went in and set up a whole government, and then stole like $19 trillion from Haiti altogether, leaving it broke? Wow. And still in shambles. Still. Okay? So whenever there's a natural disaster, you can always count on the United States to give you half and nothing more. Okay? Straight up and down, man. Straight up and down. That is just like the weakest thing I ever heard in my life. But yet still, we're prospering. Oh yes, blacks are now being employed by the millions and boo 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 and all this. It's low, it's important. But see, Cheeseburger didn't mention anything about, say, like, you know, women being paid equally as men. You know, Mr. Grab him by the pussy. Okay. Well, okay, come on. If this guy's ego is to accentuate his, like, accomplishments, the only thing he's actually accomplished is, you know, tax reform, okay, and the shutdown of the government in his first year. Okay, everything else and so forth he's actually done was like, you know, just shuffled a whole deck of cards and like replaced all the people that he had on his staff. I didn't lift a finger to do anything for that. Okay, their governments are strong, they can do this. Yes, as long as the American dollar stands strong against whatever currency they have, sure, you can make a profit off of it. Come on, that's basically what government is all about, man. Profit. It's all about profit, dude. It's a big business. It's the big business of profit, and not only that, but it basically awards those on the top further than, say, like the people on the bottom. But yet the people on the bottom, they get like, you know, this rubber band taxation thing. Here you have, and it's like, oh, you only get this much. Oh, you only get this much. Oh, you only get this much. All right. That is what we call a deliberate sucker punch. Like that. Okay. So anyway, when health basically has been has been curtailed to that extent, what does that mean in practical instances around our country? Well, let's see what happens in the bottom of our shithole. Okay. So this is from like New York Daily. And it basically describes a video that does reveal how EMS workers declined to help a man shot 16 times. No, 50 Cent was nowhere near this, okay? Because he looks like a borderline target anyway. I don't know, maybe the guy who got shot 16 times could produce a rap album with Dr. Dre. EMS workers in Ohio refused to come to the aid of a man who was shot 16 times because he had crossed just over a city border in his car, okay? Hippocratic Oath says, regardless of the person, you know, you're a doctor or somebody that's in the medical profession, you give them aid of some sort, okay? The incident took place on January 14th after a man was repeatedly shot in Cleveland, but he had, like, you know, willing to push the car a little further. because they, quote unquote, they said they won't come because it's in your city. Even though it's our victim, they won't come. The police would rush the wounded man to a nearby hospital. He survived the shooting, but his condition is not known. Witnesses told cops that she saw a suspect firing at her boyfriend with an assault rifle. Authorities were later told the victim was shot 16 times, including multiple wounds in the chest, right knee, right shoulder, right hand, and left knee and left foot. City of Cleveland is investigating whether rules were violated, according to Cleveland.com. So basically, depending upon territories and so forth, nobody can help this guy. I mean, it's just as bad as, like, say, if you're a bounty hunter and everything, and you wind up arresting somebody in Cleveland and try to go through Kentucky and then into a Commonwealth state. You have to let that person go in Kentucky once you get across that borderline, regardless of what they've done. So I guess these walls are already there. So why are we building a wall against Mexico when we already have invisible walls of jurisdiction, preventing people not to get help or seek aid anywhere? Okay, I thought we were free to cross the country. I guess that Southwest Airlines the advertisement didn't work so well, did it? Okay, so and needless to say, we have issues of these particular things. We have issues here. We really do. We have human rights issues that are basically like non-existent, depending upon which jurisdiction that you're from. Why is that? Why do we sit up and make up arbitrary laws against against humanity? Human beings need help, and yet still we put up financial walls. We put up walls of economic segregation. Why do we put up walls? Why do we put up these walls? And these walls don't cost a damn thing, but yet still Mexico's supposed to pay for a $21 billion wall in which they said they were not going to do. I'm still waiting for my Donald Trump toilet paper so that way I can actually speak to him on a day-to-day basis. I mean, bowel movements aside, nasty, totally nasty. So, if anything, since one of the pillars of cheeseburgers their deflating promises and so forth was to help, the dreamers and so forth, from which he intends to axe that entire movement by March 5th. And then says that all Americans are dreamers. If you got a bunch of sleep and so forth, let them sleep. If we're dreaming, you can dream and be anything you want. That is such a weird-ass preamble to that of the Statue of Liberty. Send us your huddled masses. You're persecuted. Those who are basically needed shelter. And we will turn them away because they don't have enough money to come here. And then he goes on and says, we're going to crack down on, the green card things and so forth. They keep uneducated people from, working here. If that was the case, how many immigrants do you have working around Fort Carson out here? A lot. Some are from India, some are from Pakistan, some are from Ethiopia, some are from Africa, all the way around. And yet still, they have work visas, right? They seem they're brightest and they're smartest and so forth to deal with this. As a matter of fact, I'm still puzzled. Osama bin Laden was allowed to work with the CIA. I don't understand this, okay? But yet still, everybody else that's poor, we can't bring poverty into the country because we have enough of it. Yet still, there's money for everyone, right? Right, sure. That is just the biggest snow job I ever seen. I mean, he just snowballed it in, and these jackasses sat up there and clapped. Oh my God. So, in that political sense and so forth, how are the Democrats and Republicans going to actually work together to see some bipartisan effort on making sure that humanity's rights are preserved and stopping the United States from, furthering its, reckless abandon into human rights abuses? I mean, we've never been in trial. We've never had anybody go to the Nuremberg trial. Come on. How is it that we murder? We have civil authorities, we have government authorities murdering people in the streets, and yet still we can't get any kind of justice whatsoever. You know, it's not just a black and brown thing. It's a human thing, man. It's a total human thing. And for human beings and so forth, we're just getting our rights just trampled over. 9 times out of 10, there are forces within the government that are making rules to eliminate human rights altogether. No, who's on that planet? Who is actually on that planet? Well, obviously, the first person we're thinking of is the commander-in-chief. Okay, and this guy is basically just saying, we're going to do what we want to do, regardless of what you see. Don't pay attention to what's going on behind the green curtain, but look at the awesome face that I have here, in my small hands.
Yeah, then we're going to do everything in our possibility to make sure that everyone gets grits and bacon for breakfast and maybe a banana for dinner. Yeah, that's what I call making America great.
Starvation, slavery, okay, and therefore the entire brainwashing of people that come here, okay, that look for asylum because their own countries are rife with, corruption, murder. Okay, there's still no answer in Mexico for the missing 43 whatsoever. But yet people, rich people go on down there and say, oh, I'm going to, Acapulco, and I'm going to boogie, and I'm going to look like those dream people I see on TV and so forth. No, my 365-pound bigamist. You're not going to go down there and find yourself a 14-year-old and substitute her for your wife. Okay, that's what happens, people. And when they get caught out there and whatnot, oh my goodness, this adds to the sex trafficking problem that we have around the world, doesn't it? Yeah. We have vacation spots that encourage sex trafficking, child trafficking, enslavement of children to work in fields that benefit us. Okay? One of the biggest ripoffs is sugar. Most addictive thing on the planet, like cocaine, worse than heroin. Okay? And guess what? You have children cutting down their sugarcane for you. Haitian and African children cutting down sugarcane in sugarcane fields, damn near around the world. Okay? There's a big problem with that, and I find that very, very, very evil. Okay? And the rich people who basically do this should be ashamed of themselves. Very sure. But then again, I guess these people don't really count on, count on the viability of their souls. And if their souls are like tarnished with the laws of wealth and greed, inspired by capitalism, then needless to say, the suffering will be more than quadruple fold. Okay? But then again, you have to look on some bright spots. Okay, next month coming around, it's going to be like, African History Month, Black History Month. Okay? And of course, needless to say, I know people in Compton are going to be laud over it. City council is going to sit there and say, oh, we're going to do this for, Black History Month, which, needless to say, when you have small charter towns like that, all they do is give out gift baskets, clothing, okay? And that's it. There's no educational upliftment at all. It's just, let's pander to people garbage. They're going to that's disposable, and we can write it off in city taxes. It can be done anywhere. It's being done everywhere. Okay? And of course, needless to say, one thing that our intrepid leader did not discuss is the dismantlement of, how can I say this, of white supremacy. Okay? No president has ever said anything about dismantling white supremacy in this country. Why? Because every presidency, everyone, including Obama's, has some support in white supremacy. Yep, sure as hell do. Because if this fascism does not stop and whatnot, then you will lose the civility of your government. Okay? If there are groups out there that are basically, all about trying to tear down the government and everything, I applaud you for your thought process, okay, in that. But then when you start taking out people that are different from you, then you have the support, and you support Cheeseburger, who's been bankrolling this crap left and right. Makes us look like a very weak nation, very weak. So and therefore, we should embrace all of our cultures that are here. Embrace them all. Okay? And if we don't learn to embrace all of these cultures here, we are not Americans. Not one single one of us are Americans here at all. Okay? We are labels. We are stereotypes. We are, the epitome of racist jokes. Okay? And it's like, oh, come on, have a sense of humor about it and everything. No, dude. No. I come from the 60s. I've seen stuff worse than this. Okay? And for the most part, I have to blame like our artists for not actually, addressing this. Now, if you're a hip hop artist or you're a writer of some sort or a producer, and all you're producing is schlock, okay, that will, win a Grammy, then obviously, yeah, you just write schlock, or somebody's writing schlock for you. I mean, Cardi B, you didn't get a Grammy. Why? Because you were just pumping out some ignorant bitch shit. Man, come on. And people are taking advice from a stripper. That's like taking advice from a damn snail on how to fix your damn taxes. We're at the halfway point here, people. This is KTNG 860 AM, the morning KTNG morning show. And as always, I always tell people here on YouTube, follow us throughout 2018. Subscribe, like, smash that love button, and pull it up. Okay, so this way DJ Sucker Punch can say more than just save your nuts, pow, 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 just like that. And remember, we got the Loose and Juicy Fruity Booty mixes coming up in noon, and as well as more talk that has inspired people to really think about themselves and think about humanity as well. So we keep it pumping here, commercial free, home of the world's greatest spitters ever. That's right, and it's not here in this country. It's all around the world. So therefore, if we have a global outlook on things about who can spit and who can, put it down and whatnot, we should give props to that. As a matter of fact, how come there are no Grammys for international spitters? How come there's no Grammy for international musicians who write about the truth about humanity? Why? Because Public Enemy set the precedence for that. They did. They took a nation of millions to hold us back, and guess what happened? That type of thing did not go through. The only one that actually, jostled, say, our fervent, outlook of hip hop and so forth was Cop Killer. And that wasn't even a hip hop song. That was pretty much like a thrash metal song. Ice-T shook it up and whatnot. And needless to say, because he caused that level of controversy, he was say, okay, well, you can't be doing that no more. And they made him a TV star. Nice. I guess you guys don't realize that kind of history, really. Okay, that is a mark in Black history altogether. Okay, so let's keep on moving here, people, and acknowledge the cultures that make up America. So the nation, this is from NBC News 16 hours ago, nation's newest national treasure recognizes Latino civil rights history. Okay, now get this, people, get this. This is going to happen in Black History Month. I'm going to run down a list of groups and so forth that the civil rights history. Okay, and here we are. Very few people, and this is the story, very few people drive by the abandoned building outside downtown Houston would know that inside those walls lives a history that redefined Mexican and American civil rights in the United States. The building is finally getting a major recognition. Round of applause. There we go. The historic clubhouse is one of the most influential chapters in the League of United American Citizens, also known as LULAC, has been designated a national treasure by the National Trust for Historic Preservation. Quote, you can hear the story or read it in the book, but it doesn't get in your bones like standing in the place, says Robert Fall, Senior Vice President of Preservation Field Service at the National Trust of the building that housed LULAC's Council 60. Now, the place was a hub for Latino political and social mobilization, and its guests include President John F. Kennedy. Maybe that was the reason why he got shot. You never know. Never know. Fools do need killing. LULAC is the nation's oldest Latino civic engagement and civil rights group. Its beginnings date back to 1920 a time when Mexican Americans were segregated from public school systems and weren't allowed to learn English. It's kind of interesting because the only way they can do that, the only way they can, like, you know, basically make that apparent was the brainwashing of the Native Americans, who were, like, you know, stripped of their language, their God, their culture, to become American citizens. Nice. I just love how we do things to, like, you know, commit damn near genocide on people and then say, okay, you're not getting nothing, but this is what we're going to give you, and you're going to live by our rules. Now that we're going to just change everything and so forth, that your way of life no longer exists or no longer matters. I mean, they got movies now of like a whole clan of white people that said it made history and changed the history of white people that actually were here in, say, like the United States, before it was the United States, before it was the, you know, Native American Indians. Bullshit. All right. So I don't know where they get this falsification and so forth, but Hollywood promotes it, and idiots go out and look at it. All right. See you on Netflix. Okay. Quote unquote. You know, they were also required to pay an infamous poll tax in order to be able to vote, and that poll tax is extended. What they were able to do as far as bringing marijuana into, say, like the United States. And then they have this little card that says, you know, turn in marijuana, you can actually get paid. Well, they would get paid, and then they would get kicked back over the border by, yes, the great American country that we are. Quote, 7 members of the Council of 60 bought the house in the mid-50s for their meetings, said Gene Precis, associate professor at University of Houston downtown and a LULAC advisor. Quote, they started a lot of initiatives of local and national impact, unquote. Inside the building, now deemed a national treasure, LULAC Council 60 members created social and educational programs such as, quote unquote, Little School of the 400, now known as the Head Start program, to promote school readiness for children in low income communities. You have to give them props on that, because there was no such thing as Head Start in this country without them. Okay? How come that wasn't in, say, like, oh my God, the presidential State of the Union? Well, of course, needless to say that, you know, Cheeseburger doesn't want to, you know, acknowledge these particular things because he calls everybody else a bunch of shithole countries. Okay? So, therefore, the origins of MushLuv'd, Mexican American Legal Defense and Educational Funds, started inside these walls. Even Kennedy came to an event here before his assassination. Oops. Other programs like SERVE, Service Employment Redevelopment, and Jobs for Progress, the largest investment program in the nation, are part of the LULAC legacy that continues to impact lives nationally. The new designation comes with a $140,000 disaster recovery grant from the American Express to help rehabilitate the historic building that suffered due to Hurricane Harvey. Again, you know, Joel Osteen, I cite you as probably one of the most racist religious icons in this country. You know, people are trying to avoid a flood, and you close your church doors because you didn't want any of the water in. No, you didn't want those dirty little people all up in church. That's what that is. But you want their money. Okay? Paul estimates that in 3 years, the LULAC Clubhouse will be open to the public. Quote, our work on preservation, people think it's just about the architecture, but the meat of it is the history inside of it, said Paul. Quote, the civil rights issues of the past are not over, and we want to encourage all Americans to own this history. That's inclusion. That is inclusion right here in the United States. But yet, we have a racist president. I'm sorry, but no, I'm not sorry. I'm going to call it for what it is. He's a racist president. Okay? You cannot sit there and lie and tell a whole bunch of people that you're a bunch of rapists and murderers and thieves and cutthroats when you got the exact same thing sitting in Congress that's been sitting there doing the exact same thing for damn near 150 freaking years. So there's a contradiction in play. There is a contradiction in play of it, and it's almost like, you know, pretty much like, you know, kind of sad. It really is. It's kind of sad and indicative of the true nature of this country. Okay? But then again, you know, there is personal perseverance. Personal perseverance for anybody that is, like, you know, different from the American way of life. Truth, justice, the American way of life. Like Superman once said. As a kid, I used to believe in that, and I still do to this day, that everyone is equal. Everyone has love. Everyone has hate. Everyone has their emotional impasse just to become part of the human strata in which we call humanity. Get how one person helped other refugees. He walked 1,000 miles on bloody feet. Now this quote-unquote lost boy of Sudan helps other refugees. So let's check this out real quick and so forth, and let you know that somebody from, say, like a quote-unquote shithole country has made a difference here. Sometimes when refugees are at their lowest emotional point, in his office in Hamford, Jacob Awar Ayen, a psychiatric physician assistant, will tell the patients his own story of being a lost boy walking thousands of miles to escape a bloody civil war. Quote, being somebody of that background myself, who went through a war-torn country from refugee camp to refugee camp with no food or shoes, I feel like I can relate to them, unquote. It was about 8 years old in 1987 when civil war in Sudan drove him an estimated 20,000 other boys, mostly ages of 8 to 12, to walk 1,000 miles from their villages to safety, first to Ethiopia and eventually to a refugee camp in Kenya. Young, now 39-year-old medical professional dressed in a dark suit and shiny black shoes, recalls a barefoot trek 4 or 5 times we were caught in crossfires where some of us were killed. How come there are no movies about something like this? How come Hollywood won't allow that? Yet still we can, put the fantasies, of the black experience on film, like Black Panther, which I think is pretty much like, a bite on, Stan Lee's acknowledgement of the Black Panther movement in the country during the 60s. And so he gave, the Africans, a story. And now kids are coming up today thinking, oh wow, that's great, it's fantasy, da-da-da-da-da. Will morph in from fantasy, once this is all done, into a point of legacy that will be, fronted in the black community over and over again, over all the other historic things that we've done. So in that particular sense, I would question black historians. Stop putting up the same garbage every freaking year. Let's focus on something that's happening now. Like, for example, Snoop Dogg, everybody's favorite rapper, has a, Pop Warner football team. And many of his football players have gone into the NFL. Or how about, Will and Jada Smith, basically funding, studio works for inner city kids. Or how about myself, who basically work with the Compton Youth Build, who got at-risk kids to learn everything about courage, teamwork, and diversity. Yeah. How about that? My legacy is more or less leaving a mark on this planet and helping those who can't help themselves, and those kids. Basically, I graduated 98% of the class. No matter how stubborn, no matter how wild they were, both black and brown. Okay? So continuing here, he and others who survived the unforgiving journey came to be called the Lost Boys of Sudan for their likeness to the orphan boys in Peter Pan, which was a fictional story. So in 2001, the United States accepted 4,000 of those refugees who came to begin new lives in a country at peace. And Young was one of them. But armed conflict seemed to follow him. His arrival in America was delayed by the 9/11 terror attacks. Man, you talk about you just walk from one bad situation into another. And fighting in South Sudan is never far from his mind. And Young and his family, has family still there. South Sudan continues to uproot people. Kakuma, the Kenyan refugee camp that left in 2001, is full once again with children and families. The 20-year-old civil war in Sudan in 2005, but peace didn't last long. After South Sudan gained independence in 2011, a civil war erupted in 2013. A 2015 peace dissolved in 2016, and fighting, mostly along ethnic lines, has continued. Now, here's a mark of human stupidity. Sudan is pretty much like in the central of Africa. And underneath it lies damn near $100 trillion in resource ore that has never been mined. And you mean to tell me these people are being hired out by companies and corporations that come from Korea, that come from China, that come from the UK, that come from the United States mostly? Dig up those resources and do what? Make this thing right here, cell phone, computer. lights. Everything in your house is made in Africa. Straight up. The resources were there, and needless to say, they're being mined. Yet the people there cannot get a dime's worth of money to feed their villages. Okay? So, as he says, quote unquote, people are still suffering and still dying, Yoon says. He has brought children out of war-torn South Sudan to Kenya to go to school. It's a way he can make life better for people who remain in the country that he fled as a lost boy 3 decades ago. Yoon was herding cattle outside his village when the warning came it was not safe to stay. Young boys in southern Sudan lived in cattle camps away from their families, and Yoon was at such a camp in 1987 when war erupted. There was no time, and it was too dangerous to go home to his mother. He followed older men who led the younger herders out of the camp. Barefoot, barely clothed, Yoon walked until his feet bled, and walked some more. Quote, you stepped on something, you just kept moving. You can't dig it out. After a while, you get used to it. There were nights without sleep, days filled with fear when wild animals chased him. Boys died. Children. Some killed by lions. Some give up because they couldn't keep walking. Some died of thirst. They ate anything. Quote, whatever we were killing is what we were eat. Or you just would eat the wild foods, the leaves. I know at one point they had to kill an elephant, and we were lucky to get something to eat. Bundles of meat. After 3 months and 1,000 miles from the cattle camp, he had fled. Yoon and other boys crossed the borders of Ethiopia. No one greeted them. There were no buildings, no homes, no running water. The boys divided into groups of about Yoon helped build houses, chopping trees and cutting grass with machetes for thatched roofs. By 91, the Ethiopian camp had become a refugee haven. The United Nations had built a school, and Yoon was in the 3rd grade. But normalcy did not last. Ethiopia was at war with its inhabitants. The camp were in danger. 4 years after he had fled Sudan, he had to go back through the strife-ridden country to reach the border with Kenya. It was the same unforgiving trip. The boys once again fought hunger, thirst, wild animals. They were shot at as they reached the banks of Gilo, a wide, fast-moving river. To avoid bullets, they dove and swam underwater. Yoon knew how to swim, but even some of the boys who could swim drowned, pulled underwater by others who could not. The boys continued on foot to Pachala, a small village in southern Sudan, where they huddled for 2 months. But as the civil war raged closer, they moved to another town near the Kenyan border. Within hours, they had to run. A day later, they stopped. And Yoon recalled there was nothing there, no houses, building, running water. Just like ours, we just sleep in trees. They walked further to another town, and a rescue convoy came 3 weeks later. Yoon hopped into the back of a cattle truck packed with refugees going to Kakuma. He entered the 4th grade at the school of Kakuma refugee camp that local Kenyans had built for their children. A good student, by the end of elementary school, he had earned high grades and was allowed to attend a high school outside the refugee camp. In addition to his native Dinka and some Swahili, he spoke English. His studiousness would help him be selected as one of 4,000 lost boys to be resettled in the United States. He broke the news to his friends in camp, I'm going to America. On September 11th, he was on a plane to the United States. An hour before the plane was to land in New York, 2 airline jets crashed into the World Trade Center Twin Towers, so we all know that. None of us could believe that America could be attacked by planes, as he said. Passengers were scared, anxious, and worried, but he remained calm as the pilot diverted the plane to Newfoundland, Canada. This was not the worst experience for us. In the United States, Yoon would be settled in Vermont. He lived with a host family for 2 weeks before moving into an apartment with 5 other lost boys. They cooked together, played soccer and dominoes, attended church, and they got jobs. Yoon at a soap factory. It was a culture shock. It's a culture shock to move any damn where in this country, really. But here it is, a complete story here, people. Okay? At the same time, the United States did not match the image of the country that he and his friends had created in their minds. Quote, a lot of people actually think it was better back home, whether you have no electricity, running water, or no security. At the same time, the UN says people left behind in South Sudan expect financial help from the lost boys who had made it to America. You're making $7 an hour, pay all the bills, and you try to send money. But he had a plan when he came to the United States. It did not involve quitting. He would become a citizen, go to college, and have a career. We got people, we got black people here who can't even do that half the damn time. Because we're all based on party and bullshit. Straight up, okay? And needless to say, when we get to our, between 25 and 30, we become lost boys ourselves. We become lost children ourselves to the society. Story goes on, while attending community college in Vermont, he worked at a factory and got another job at the American Red Cross screening blood donors. Quote, it's America. If you work hard, go to college, you can get a job and you can improve your life. And I'm living a living example of that. I went to college and I work and I have so many jobs. Okay? Ewan came to the Evidence Health Community Care in Hanford in 2014 as a psychiatric physician assistant after graduating from Union College, a seven-day Adventist college in Lincoln, Nebraska. Ewan had attended college on a National Health Service Corps scholarship that required service after graduation in an underserved area. Hanford met that requirement, and Ewan says Evidence Health aligned with his values and personal beliefs. Gary L. Hoffman, the Behavioral Health Services Clinical Director, says, well, patients took to a lot of concerns that our patients bring to us have to do with challenges they face integrating into a community, being uprooted and displaced. The diaspora continues, and it still continues to this day, but not for just black, for Latinos, for anybody else, that's Asian, or anybody else that's like, a person of color coming into this country. It's like, oh my God, it's so much. I can't eat but so much. Then it's simple. Get more plates and spread the food out. And learn when to eat on those days. Okay? Hoffman hasn't talked with anyone about being a lost boy, but he has been amazed and impressed on how he established himself in the community. And quote, I appreciate him as a colleague and a friend, and I hope he's with us for a long time to come. But that depends. I mean, he's not here on a little Dreamer Act. He's here as a refugee. And when the travel ban finally comes to, the Executioner's Act, what does it mean for his temporary citizenship? What does it mean for his educational status? What does it mean that when we start deporting people wholesale by, the hundreds of thousands, how are you, the American taxpayer, going to feel about that? Oh yeah, we got all the undesirables out of our country. Even if they had jobs, even if they had companies, even if they employed American citizens. Okay? These instances have been going on now since, Dr. Dirty Dick became president. Okay? And it still goes on today. I mean, ATF, ICE. Think about it, people. Think about it. You might know somebody that's like, straight up from Kenya today and they be gone tomorrow. You might know somebody that's from El Salvador today and maybe gone tomorrow. You might know somebody from Mongolia and maybe here today and gone tomorrow. You might know somebody that comes from like one of the worst places on the planet, India, where poverty is like 90% of the damn place. And children, they're getting rid of they don't want girls, they want boys. Okay? But yet still, it's okay if you're from, Newfoundland, or you're from, Iceland. Or if you're from any other place that basically doesn't have a whole, 1%, over 1% of a minority population. There are blacks and Russians, there are black Russians in Russia that live in Moscow. So, if we're all over the place, and so if we're all over the planet, we're living our lives from day to day, and so forth, in all these rugged-ass areas that are predominantly white, what does that say? It says that the will is greater. Okay? That personal will to survive, to excel, to do good in your community thrives faster than the crime, the stereotyping, the racism, the fascism that follow, that basically has been inundated in the news today. Okay? That sort of thing. And until we decide that we deserve the moniker of the greatest nation on the planet, I think, needless to say, you need to roll that shit back. You have to. You're going to have to roll that shit back and really look at how much of a contribution you put up. Okay? How much of a contribution? And I challenge artists. I challenge hip hoppers. I challenge writers. I challenge movie makers. I challenge the so-called status quo to do better. Sure, Bill Gates donates millions and millions and billions of dollars into into like war-torn areas, so that way kids can have books, medication, shoes. Okay? How about a better way of life? How about jobs that are equal to the same pay that we get here, if anything? How about into this? How can you sit there and do stuff outside of their governments and call yourself a charitable person? I think not. The Koch brothers have successfully changed the rules of the game for our political structure here, and yet still nobody is taking these dastardly bastards down at all. It would be much easier to cut the head off the snake in that particular sense and watch the body fall. But as long as the Koch brothers remain, the richest tycoons in America, then and only then will that ideal come to pass. All right? And as more as they get entrenched into the government, everyone's life will be changed forever. Slowly but surely. Not overnight, like some ADD person would think of. But think about it, people. Think about it. These are the same people who instigated segregation of the public schools. These are the same people who instigate and promote and fund fascism to their own greed. They can't do anything in South America whatsoever, but yet still here in America, it's an open playing field. And that makes us great, because anybody, as quote-unquote cheeseburger can say, can dream. All right, people, that's enough of my crazy analysis of the human strata. And now on to the best part of the day, is wishing everyone a good morning. Okay, so if you're online, if you're there, I got you. Let's say good morning to Leslie. Okay, and Leslie, good morning. Okay, do have to say good morning to my man, Cool Walt, Sir Walt, man who remembers the icon, the legend. Alrighty. Let's see. Also, I gotta say good morning to Brenda Eakin Perkins. Good morning, love. Frank Diaz. Good morning, man, dude. You got to definitely hit me up. Isel Melika Zulu, all the way out in Spain. Good morning, Jamie Mantine in the UK. Good morning, Soul Sonic Biggs. Good morning, Darren Gregory Malloy, my great nephew here. Good morning, Maria Villarreal, Queen of Compton, and that's right. She is the author, the president and owner of the Latino Chamber of Commerce in Compton. Luke Cage, Power Man, beat maker, songwriter, also the consummate musician. Good morning, Kenny King. Good morning, Lyrical Ray. Good morning, Deborah Coco. Good morning. Okay, and good morning to the rest of the world out there. Universal Zulu Nation. Artists, if you got music, pump it through. Oh, change all of it and so forth, so that way you can hear more of you guys. People who don't need, say, like a Grammy to say that they're great, but people who do their art because they are great enough to do it. All right. So if anything, people, I want to get up out of here. I got some things to do. Mark Ruff, good morning. Let's see who's late to the party again. Rodney Perez White, good morning. I'm about to do some things here. I got to go to the clinic and whatnot. So needless to say, it's going to be an interesting day. Very interesting day on my part. Also, I want to say Nick Rickman, good morning. Jason Anthony, good morning. Skyski Rio, all the way out in Virgin Islands, good morning. And let's see. Also, Bernard Benzema, all the way out in South Africa, good morning. And also to Clarence Lumford, who just joined us on Aki Butt, good morning. Good morning, everybody. And most importantly, I want to say, good morning to the rest of the world. And give a little bit of advice, daily advice that we can all live through, and persevere as better human beings on this planet. Keep in mind, people, heaven is not a segregated area. Everybody returns to the one. Your judgment is there. Judge not unless you want to be judged. But most importantly, get out there and do your best. Do your best as best you can. but make sure you help those who cannot help themselves. And for whatever reason, no matter what you're going through, never, ever let anybody steal your shine. All right? Never let anybody take your smile. Be happy, be positive, and fight the good fight. This has been the Ktng Morning Show. I've been your host, the Grits Man. You guys enjoyed the information for the day and so forth. So walk with knowledge, speak from heart, and hear with your eyes and see with your ears. Might find something very distinct. All right, people, I'm out here. Later, taters, and love, peace, and chicken grease, Facebook. Booyaka. And love, peace, and chicken grease.